So, we're homies. I love you to death. When my booker said you were a fan of Bjork, my mouth hit the floor. I was like, I did not expect this to be the record that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you know? It's just, listen, I love Bjork. I'm going to say this to the whole audience. Love Bjork. It's just what she's an artist that you don't like. Not everybody digs her.
Oh no,
she's a
weirdo.
Just really a weirdo.
Yeah.
And it just took me by surprise. So take me through. How did you end up on this episode doing Bjork? I can't even say it. Bjork Post.
I think it was, and I'm so excited because I started after I found out we were gonna do Bjork Post, and I started like listening to the album again, and I was like, oh my god, I think I like almost every song on this album, which is really difficult. You know, I think there's like two that I'm like, meh, but every other one I'm like, this is a fucking great song. So it came out in 1995. I was in college at the time, like a sophomore in college.
Johns Hopkins too.
I did go to Johns Hopkins,
which is great. Every time my sister did her residency there at the hospital, and it's like I remember hearing you say that on the Crab Feast, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, Baltimore, dude,
Baltimore, man,
love that."
Yeah, I really love Baltimore. And this has some Baltimore history in it. This story too.
Ooh.
So I remember Bjork from when I was in high school, and Human Behavior was like that video, and it would always be on 120 minutes, and it was like exciting to watch 120 minutes, and it was like, who is this weirdo? This is great. And then I think I owned that album, but then when Post came out and I got it, and that when Army of Me, like when I first heard that song, like that was the first song I heard like heavy kind of electronic sound, because I was just like at that time I was like a punk kid, just like primarily listening to like Bikini Kill and Unwound and stuff from the Pacific Northwest on like Kill Rock Stars and stuff, and K Records. And honestly, I thought maybe freshman year of college, I almost exclusively listened to like lesbian punk rock. I thought I just like identified with lesbian punk rock for some reason, queer lesbian punk rock.
So you were a huge fan of Good Charlotte, right? They're the biggest lesbian punk rock band ever, and they're from Maryland, Waldorf.
Yeah. Like the Third Sex, I was all like these little indie bands from like the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah.
And then I started, and then sophomore year, I started living with a guy who was really into industrial, John, super into Skinny Puppy, and so I started listening to a little bit more electronic music, and I also got really into acid, and like listening to that Bjork record kind of got me into like electronic music, because before I was just like, if it's beepy and bloopy, like fuck it, I am out. I hate it. But then because of that record, I liked it so much. I remember I was like, at the same time also, I was like, I'm going to like start selling acid. And I was listening to Bjork, and I because of like this electronic stuff, and I was getting more into it, I found out there was this huge electronic scene in Baltimore. And so there's this place, it was called Rise. It happened.
Oh, I know.
Oh, you know Rise?
Dude, Fever, Paradox.
Holy shit, really?
Dude, that... Me and Ryan Sickler did a show in Baltimore not too long ago, and you know that like right where the new stadiums are is where the Paradox was.
Yeah.
And that's where Jimmy Seafood does this huge tailgate for the Ravens games. And the bathroom that you use is now the defunct Paradox.
Wow.
And like I walked through and was just like, fingered a girl over there. I threw up over here. I was like, that's where I used to do K. Like it means everything to me.
Oh my God, that's so fucking crazy. I had no idea. Are you from Baltimore?
Dude. I was born in Germantown, and I lived in Baltimore for 7 years. And I lied when I first moved to LA and said I was from Baltimore because I thought it sounded cooler.
Of course.
But I'm really from the suburbs of DC.
Okay.
But
still.
30 minutes away. Yeah.
I like that I like that you chose Baltimore over saying you were from DC. Like that is a specific type of person. Because when I lived in Baltimore, I fucking hated DC so much. I hated the music scene there. I hated everything about DC, and I love Baltimore.
Charm City, baby.
Charm City, baby. So I'm getting into like listening to a little bit more electronic music, and so I decide that and I find out about Rise because of that, and I'm like, I'm gonna go I'm gonna buy a sheet of acid, and then I'm gonna start selling acid, which is a convenient way to just do a ton of acid and not make any money. And so I at the time only wore like military. I was dressed. I had a completely shaved head with just there it is, and I just had like a coxcomb of hair. So it was just like a puff of hair right here. Everything else was shaved, and then this I would sculpt into 2 spikes, 2 horns. So I just looked like a fucking chicken. Like I looked terrible. And I only wore like military fatigues, like ex-military stuff. And so I'm like going to go to Rise and buy a sheet of acid. Because in my head, I'm just like, how difficult can it be? Like all these kids have drugs. I'm going to walk up. I'm just going to find it. I'm going to go by myself. And everyone who I lived with was just like, that you're crazy. Like, no, you're not going to buy a sheet of acid. You don't know anybody. You can't just go to this place. I'm like, you watch me. And I went by myself, went to Rise. Sunday night, I think it started at like midnight or something. It went to like 10 in the morning or something.
Yeah.
So I get there and I'm like wearing my my army issue backpack and my combat boots, and I'm like walking around, and I was there for maybe 15 minutes. I just kept asking people if they had a sheet of acid. Like the third person I asked was like, "Oh yeah, man." He sold it to me for $150. And I was like, "Got it." Took it home. And we immediately tripped like that night. And then I tried to sell it, and I sold like 10 hits of it, and we ended up like doing the rest of it. But that during those trips also was when we were listening to this record as well. So all of that's kind of how I got introduced to this album, was during this punk rock period with a lot of acid in Baltimore. And it's like just stuck in my brain in like a very permanent place because of that.
I couldn't imagine tripping balls and listening to this record, man.
Oh,
I mean, I was, by the time I started going to raves, I was already done with acid because I had a schizophrenic breakdown when I was in 11th grade.
Okay.
And so I've always kind of like been very like cautious about LSD. Big mushrooms fan.
Yeah.
And I really would like to take mushrooms and listen to this. But like, what did you see? I mean, like listening to this record on LSD, I mean, did you have like out of body experiences? Like, how did you connect with it more than just listening to it sober?
It was such dry, like I mean, just especially the first track, Army of Me, I think is just such like driving music. I was also like, there was weird tropes that just like kept, I think when you do acid a lot, or when you do hallucinogens a lot, you start talking about life and like themes and stuff like that, which you seem like pop up, right? And so it was like the 4 of us who lived together, all were doing a bunch of acid together. So we had like these themes that kept like coming up. And like one thing was like this kind of like robotic, it was like hardcore techno. Like before it was, hardcore techno was something in 1995 that it changed. The name started to refer to something else. But in 1995, hardcore techno was just that like 220 beats per minute. Like it sounds like robots are murdering people. And we would listen to that on the acid. So when we would like switch over to the Bjork, it was very relaxing and calming. But we would just like always travel. We would always be going somewhere to do something. Like we would just get in my car and just drive to DC. Like I drove to DC by sight. Do you know what I mean? Like I just kept going south and then saw the Capitol, the big stick. What's that called?
The Washington
Monument. I saw the big stick.
AKA
and I was like, we're going to get to the big stick. And we literally did it just by like visually cueing off where things were. Smoking Moors. Do you remember Moors?
Oh yeah, dude, the brown
Those
cigarettes.
brown cigarettes.
Yeah, dude.
100
that was the first cigarette I ever had. Was a Moor.
What?
Yeah, dude. I swear. Stole it from Adrian Cheney's dad. Yep. They were like the Dirt family in my neighborhood.
The Moors, I cannot believe. I mean, I've never met anybody who's had a sweet Moor. I remember just that I bought them as a joke while we were tripping, and then just they're so thin you could hardly get any smoke out of them. So we were smoking 2 at a time, just driving down. The 95
or maybe even 295, who knows?
Yeah, man.
There's so many ways to get there, dude. Oh god, I love this so much. This is way better than I just bought the CD and I was a fan of Bjork. You're bringing up so much shit for me, dude. Has Has it evolved? I mean, did it stop with Post, or did you get into like Medulla? I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but all the other records.
I got into Vespertine a little bit. I feel like after, and I am not super. I tried to keep up, but I just couldn't. Do you know what I mean? Every time I would kind of like dip in after Post, it was so
Weird,
just weird, and it just didn't seem to be framed with like the beats that she was using on Post just held everything down. And like her airy kind of like melodic, just like going all over the place with her voice was anchored by that stuff. And I don't know if that was her producers, but she produced I think she co-produced the record herself. But then after that, I think it just to me at least felt unanchored into like just magical, mystical whimsy, and I was just like, I can't really follow it. I think it's beautiful, but I wouldn't like put it on to chill out to,
Yeah. Well, actually, I would say this. I think the music as it evolved, except for the record that that Timbaland produced, which kind of goes back to like Post, it is very like good background, like dinner party music. Do you know what I mean? Hey, we're having tapas. You know what I mean? What was that? Fucking meatball, and then you eat it, and it's like I'm much like you. I fell off, not from this record. There's something about Bjork, and I think we all can agree, and all the listeners can agree. There is something interesting about her. I still can pinpoint the exact moment I saw her when I was sitting on the couch. I was watching MTV, and they put on Sugar Cube's hit. And this moment right here, Jeremiah, you got it? This moment right here is, and I'd say top 10 musical moments from the 90s that I listen to this song all the time. Play the moment I love so much. That little like second voice. Oh God, I love that song. But and then the song is weird as shit because it's got the guy like, "But it never happened. Oops, and stopped. It really hurts. Oh, you're a girl." And I was like, this song. It's weird as fuck. But I saw her, and she's so cute, and she's so like. She looks like you probably agree, every raver girl that you saw at Rise, at Paradox, at Buzz. And so I remember when the first record came out, and I was like, okay, like, I really love Human Behavior. But this record, my good friend Ryan McLaughlin bought, and we just drove around in his Jetta, and we just got high in the back roads of like, we used to drive into the hills, like away from DC, and go to like towards the Frederick area and just get to smoke blunts and listen to this record. And it was so different than anything that was out at that time, that at least, because I wasn't a raver yet, that I hadn't even got into electronic music. And to be honest with you, Kurt, what got me into going to raves wasn't the music. It was, much like you, the drugs. Because I was a huge fan of ecstasy and ketamine and all the good stuff, and coke and, all the stuff that comes along with it. The sex, it was great. But then I stopped listening to her, and it wasn't until I think Dancer in the Dark that I started like re-listening to her, because she did some stuff with Tom York, and it's just, and anything you do with Radiohead, I'm 100% in. And now. Like much like you, I don't listen to her music as much. I've been kind of doing like a little deep dive on her recently. But there's, like I said, there's something about her that I love. I love how interesting she is. I love the outfits. I love when she wore the swan thing. And she's one of the few like musicians that I follow on all social media, because I just think she's fucking idea. And she dated Goldie, who was a huge drum and bass DJ. He was in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and I mean, dude, it's Bjork, dude. She's just Bjork. It's like, I make fun of her. I do this whole joke about Scandinavian music, and I always say, like, no one has ever said, you want to turn the party up? Put some Bjork on. No one will ever say that. But that's the thing is everybody knows who she is.
Yes.
She is such an iconic artist, up there with maybe not musically recognized as Beyonce or fucking Madonna, but nobody knows her last name. We only call her Bjork. So because of that, I feel like she deserves all the accolades because obviously she's done something.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I think that debut album, I was reading on her Wikipedia page that I think they thought, like, okay, well, she's in the Sugar Cubes. That people love it, but it's like a culty band. Like, this album will sell 40,000 copies. Like, that's what they assumed. And then it sold, I think, 600,000 in like the first year, and then had like a number one hit on it already. I mean, like, it's just crazy to think like that you just go from there to there, like overnight. Yeah. She was an indie darling to like a global superstar, like a fucking overnight. It was kind of insane. I think that really kind of affected, just from reading a little bit on the Wikipedia of like then how she did all the rest of her music, which was just like, I'm a pure artist. I'm just going to do. And that's what I think is difficult, right? It's like difficult to follow when a band isn't committed to like this one specific sound, but instead they're committed, and I admire it, but instead committed to just like fucking exploring and bark.
Exactly.
Beth and Bjork, I just wanted to say. Bjork's just exploring,
Dude, that's why I love Miles Davis. That's why I love Radiohead. That's why I love the Beatles. I mean, they start at one place, they end at something different. And I mean, one thing we can say about her music is that none of it has been the same.
Yeah.
Maybe some of this stuff where it gets kind of noisy and atmospheric, it's more similar, but it's definitely not Sugar Cubes, and it's definitely not this.
Yeah.
So at least on that note, I'm like, all right, well, I love her even more because of that. Might not listen to it, but I love it.
Yeah.
Morty, why don't you tell us a little bit about Bjork?
Okay, fellas. First of all, I'm going to assume that it's just your Balmer accent. Let's get this straight for the audience or everyone. Her name is pronounced Bjork.
Oh, go fuck yourself,
little
dude.
umlauts
Go
on
fuck
top.
yourself. No.
No, not you.
No.
You. Everybody says Bjork or Bjork or Bjork. Yeah.
It's Bjork.
It's Bjork.
Bjork?
Bjork.
Who knew?
Is how she
It's
pronounced
Bjork.
It's Bjork.
No
so when
one
you see
calls
me
her
say
that.
no,
they all call
hold
her
on.
Bjork.
Goldie
called her Bjork.
When you hear me say that, just know you can think it whatever you want, but that's how she actually pronounces it. So now I'll catch you up. I'm the pedantic one here. So this album's released on June 13th of 1995 on One Little Indian and Elektra Records in America. It's produced by Bjork, Nelly Hooper, Graham Massey, Tricky, Howie B. And this is the second album of hers, the Icelandic alternative electronica trip hop pop art pop artist. She's born in Reykjavik. She's born in Reykjavik, Iceland in 1965 under the name Björk Gudmundsdóttir. As you know, Icelandic people are named after their father. Mm-hmm. So it's either Gudmund is their father, or
all the
Gudmund's
CrossFit son. Girls in the CrossFit games are all like David's daughter and shit like that. That's how I knew that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're the Jewish name, which is, I'm Heshele ben Alya David,
right,
son of David.
Yes,
Kurt, I don't know if if you're Jewish or we're interested in that, but takeaway fact for you.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
you actually pronounce her last name Braunohler. All right. So she was already studying classical piano and flute by the age of 6, and then her voice got her a record deal, and she put out an album of Icelandic children's music that she recorded when she was only 11, but it came out in 1977. Yeah, her real debut. Okay, so by her teens, she's already forming and playing and collaborating in a bunch of different bands. She's in an all-female punk rock group. She's in a jazz fusion group. And then after music school, which she completed, she starts her first professional band and puts out an EP. And this band is called Tapi Tikaras, which is roughly translated to Cork the Bitch's Ass.
Wait. Wait. Wasn't it actually pronounced Kjörk? the bitch's
Bjork,
ass.
Bjork, the beach is hers.
Kyrkit. It's Kyrk.
Yeah, I assume it's very cold in Iceland.
It was
And
a
so
working title. It was a working
Yeah.
title, and that's.
I
how
wonder what was.
feminism
What do you think
started.
was? What do you think was already taken? Do you have any clues on what they didn't use?
I mean,
What kind of
Court the
music
Bitch's
was
ass.
it?
Oh, exactly like it sounds. I think their name was incredibly descriptive of the type of music they were making.
Dude.
It was Bjork actually yelling and the other one laughing uproariously.
Kurt, this
Really?
is probably the lesbian music that you listen to. I'm just surprised Kyrk the bitch's ass didn't get into your fucking
Kyrk.
into your Spotify playlist.
So after that, she goes and works with a guitarist named Thor Eldon, who has a surrealist band called Medusa, which includes a poet named Sion,
Of course.
which I'll get to in a little
This
bit.
is
That
amazing.
makes sense.
This is all fucking
So her
amazing.
next-
This is exactly
her
what
next project-
Bjorn's Bjork. What Bjorn's Bjork.
Yeah. You'll love this. Yeah. Her next project is this gothic punk rock group where she hones her the thing we were talking about, her unique vocal style. And then they put out a single, a couple of albums. She puts out a poetry book. And then that group splinters up, becomes a duo. She finds out she's pregnant with Thor's child.
Thor.
They get married.
How
They have
old is
their
she at this
son-
point? She's like 19 or something?
Oh, dig this. I'll get to that. I'll name. This is 19, and then watch how much he gets done before that. So she has his kid. She gets married. They have their son Sindri. She adds acting to her resume, and then they start another band, but specifically to make money. She's only 20 at the time.
Oh my God.
Whoa,
So,
dude!
they
They got
became
him
known-
working early in fucking Iceland,
Oh, yeah.
man.
What else are they doing?
CrossFit.
Name another thing. Yeah, exactly. CrossFit
Fish, eating fish, bathing? That's all
Yeah.
I'd do.
twice a year.
Walking to a waterfall?
Yeah. So that group becomes known as, and you guys will have fun with this one, Sikur Molinir. That's the name of the band they put together to make money. They put out some well-received Icelandic language singles. Then they signed with an English independent label called One Little Indian. They released an English translation version of their first single, which is called Birthday, under their translated band name, The Sugar Cubes.
Whoa.
So that's the actual name.
Oh, okay.
Love the
So
Sugar
right after
Cubes,
sh-
man. I only
Yeah.
know one song by him, but I fucking love him.
Don't you love that song by name?
I always tried to
Yeah.
listen to the Sugar Cubes. I had like one Sugar Cube CD, and I would like pop it in, like, all right, let's get into this, and then I'd be like, I can't get into it.
I say, ouch, that really hurts. And you're like, all right.
It just felt
all right,
very
yeah.
of a time, you know.
Very.
Even when I was listening to it, 1996 or something, and it was like, it's already over for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was-
Yeah, that Fred
it
Schneider
expired.
guy stooped it for me. That Fred Schneider guy, he was like, she's wonderful. And then he would come in and go, I'm a boy and you're a girl. And I was like, you're unnecessary. You must be the manager, drive the van, because you're completely unnecessary in this band. So right after the Sugar Cubes put out their first album, Bjork and Thor break up. They get a divorce, but the band stays together, which we're seeing a lot of in our past things of people breaking up and keeping their
Yeah.
music together. So they have an incredibly popular career for a while, still alternative. Bjork
Mm-hmm.
wants to collaborate. She decides to go solo, and she wants to move to London. So on her technically second debut album, the imaginatively titled Debut, it's produced by Nellie Hooper, who you know from Massive Attack, one of the last episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a critical and commercial success internationally. She, as Kurt pointed out, the album, the singles, they win all kinds of awards. For the follow-up, she decides to build on that, and she brings in more producers for this record. And she wants to call it, it's a combination, by calling it Post, it's a combination of representing the excitement of living post moving to London. She's excited about that. And all the songs are sort of like personal correspondences to people she loves and to things she loves. And so it's like a pun on male. And even on the cover, you'll notice she's wearing a jacket, and the what do they call it? The lapel looks like airmail.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
you mentioned that to me earlier, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
But also,
that
like,
does make sense.
Think about that. Like, it's essentially her sophomore album, right? So the first one
Yeah.
was like songs she had written for 10 years. It's exactly like comedy, where it's just like your first album is just jokes from fucking 10 years. And then your next one is jokes you wrote like in a year or two. And
Yes.
and it's always, I always think that there's a little slump on that second album. But the fact that this is her second album and this is the one that just is like wins everything and like every single song is a hit is crazy. And she wrote it in like what, like a year or something like that?
Yeah, in between moving to, she was so inspired by London, and you'll see there's some stuff I'll carry over. I'll give you some more information as we get into it. But for this one, the lyrics are intimate, they're complex, the music is more challenging, it's more ambitious, and then all the videos are intriguing and completely engaging.
Michelle
and that's what
Gondry.
most
Yeah.
people. Yeah,
And Spike.
Michelle
Is it all
Gondry.
Michelle, or were there some that Spike
No,
Jones did?
Spike Jones did it. John Chris Falusi from Ren
she
and
just got the
Stimpy
best.
did one of the videos. So although she's always been more popular in Europe than America, she did get to number 32 for this record, which was higher than her debut. It's universally acclaimed by critics. It's featured on almost every best of list, even for the decade. It was considered probably one of the best albums of the decade, won awards everywhere. And then you'll still to this day, you'll see her in like Sia. You mentioned Tom York, MIA, who we did, Florence and the Machine, Missy Elliott, Evanescence. Like you'll hear elements of her in everything and see elements of her.
Yeah.
And then since then, she released 7 more albums, plenty of other product of all kinds. You guys can look that all up. So she's had 32 singles in the top 40 charts.
Holy shit.
She's had 22 top 40s in the UK, has sold somewhere between 20 and 40 million records worldwide.
Whoa.
And she is our artist, and Post is the album of the day.
Oh my God!
Holy
Thank
shit.
you, Morty.
Thank you, Morty.
Well done.
You
Wow.
are coming through with the bangers, bro. I'm surprised she had 38 number ones. Because I
insane.
only probably count like 4. I mean, who knew people were putting like tapas music on? All right, let's get into this record. All right, so it opens up with probably the biggest song that I know from this record. Well, maybe not.
Maybe
because
not.
Maybe it's Oh So Quiet. Oh So Quiet, I think probably is a little bit bigger of a karaoke song.
But I also think that these songs, some of them had a resurgence. Do you remember when those DVDs of Michelle Gondry and Spike Jones came out?
Yeah.
Yes, and like everyone had them, and you just get stoned and just like fucking put on the Michelle Gondry music video thing and just go through all the music videos. And I remember like that Army of Me one was like I think what started the DVD off, and I feel like there was a resurgence in interest in her when that like collection of like Gondry and Spike Jones videos came out. At least for me, there was.
No, I listen. Everybody that he mentioned that did her music videos are all like really established, like great directors that have made movies that are like, I mean, Spike Jones, fucking, her and Being John Malkovich and Michelle Gondry, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I don't remember the music video for this one. What was it?
Oh, the Army of Me. It's like starts
Yeah.
off with she's in like this like futuristic like trash truck and she's like smashing through like barricades, and then there's like, and it's all stop animation of like a butterfly that like keeps like landing on her, and it's insane. It's fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
it's kind of Mad Max, but playful, like gregarious
yes.
Max.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, dude. All right, so this was the first single. It was co-written with Graham Massey, one of the founding members of the electronica and acid house legends 808 State. And this was her first to enter the UK top 10. And she wrote it as some tough love advice and support to her brother, who was going through some heavy stuff. I never would have thought that's what it was about.
No, me neither.
The interesting thing, Morty, tell us about the drums.
So what's dope is on this is you'll hear there's the drums on this were actually sampled from John Bonham on When the Levee Breaks. As you'll know from Zeppelin 4, the same thing that they use on License to Ill and Ryman and Steel, and the first song on that record also.
Oh yeah,
That's where they got the drum sample from this.
We have,
so
you know what? I'm gonna
shout out
do
to
right-
Bonzo.
What I'm going to do right now, because I didn't have you pull it up, I just want to play. We don't need to play from Post, but I want to play the drums from When the Levee Breaks, just so everybody can
and also I'm
relate.
thinking of Ryman and Steelin too.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which is a little more straight of using
Yeah.
that exactly like it is on the record.
Yeah.
It wasn't as manipulated.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, now JT, play from Army of Me. Little bit faster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they
Right? Yeah.
definitely manipulated it.
This is all right, kill it. This is such
Such a fucking good song.
I mean, it's such a
Yeah.
great song on so many levels. When you hear this, what do you think of, Kurt?
I mean, it's just like that. It's the beautiful mix of like that heaviness and that driving bass. Then when her vocals start coming in, it's very much like a little butterfly, like flitting around like this giant Mad Max garbage truck. You know, I mean, like that's why the video to me is like so linked to this song.
Yeah. This, I mean, it just takes me back, and it's what's so great about it is it still holds up today. It's not like this is like stuck in 1995. Like this, you could put this on, you know, fucking like a band could cover this. You could see. Oh, is this the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Mad Maxy.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's
Yeah.
like it's very
like Mad Max
industrial.
and, yeah, like the Forbidden Zone and Mad Max. And yeah, I mean, it's, you know, he's incredible.
And look at how young she is. What? She's fucking 21 in this? 22 or
Something
something?
like that.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Look at she looks like
Adorable.
a child.
She is adorable. That's every girl. Dude, the best she's ever looked is when she's got the little like twisties
the
in
twisty
her hair.
hairs. Yeah.
Oh my god!
I think that was it. That was from her first album where she's like dancing on that flatbed truck as it's going through like Manhattan, I think.
God, I want to date a girl that looks like her there or Nelly Furtado. That's what I want from I'm Like a Bird, I Want to Fly Away video. Let's talk about advice, Kurt. I want to ask you this because this is a song about tough love advice. What's the greatest advice you've ever gotten?
Jesus Christ. Okay. Greatest advice I've ever gotten. Okay. Sorry to blank on you like
No.
this. I really want to. I want to actually think about it.
No, take your time.
Okay. It's it's maybe it sounds cheesy or maybe it sounds esoteric or maybe it sounds anyway. I'm not going to judge it. It's chop wood, carry water. So it's like and I think this was introduced to me I think sometime in high school. I had an English teacher by the name of Joe Feely at Christian Brothers Academy in Lincroft, New Jersey, all boys Catholic school. And for some reason, this lunatic, was teaching an English class. And it wasn't even an English class. He taught this class called Myths, Dreams, and Culture. And in a Catholic boys' school in New Jersey in 1993, he was like teaching kids about Zen Buddhism and like Eastern modes of thought and about Aboriginal thought and about like dreams. And
He was the hip teacher.
yeah, and at the end,
yeah.
you could sign up and go on to this 3-day camping trip where essentially you were like taught primitive survival skills at this place up in upstate New York called Crow. And then, so I went on that, and I think I got this advice there at that time from a guy who lived there by the name of Steve Lee, who was like a monk who lived in the woods in a yurt, and he's lived in the woods in a yurt for now like 30 years. And I would go there I've been going there for like 25 years. I lived there for a month by myself in the woods when I was 22, right after like listening to this record. Anyway, chop wood, carry water. I think it's based on a Zen koan, and I'm not positive about that, but it's before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. That this idea of work is there is no point in your life where you no longer will work. Like there's multiple levels to it. One level, if you're just thinking about it on like the enlightenment side, is like people like want to become enlightened, and they're like, what's it like once you become enlightened? And the answer is it's like you chop wood, carry water before enlightenment, you do the same thing afterwards. You know, it's like there is no difference in your life once you've achieved this thing that you're trying to achieve and like yearning for. And that idea, to me, in my life, at least as a comedian, has always just been, you always think, I always thought, at least, and I think a lot of us did, if I just get this one thing, then my life is going to change, and then it's all going to be easier, and it's just going to go skyrocket from here. And for a couple people, like maybe 8, that's true. And for everyone else, for all the hundreds of thousands of other people who are trying to make art, it's not true. It's literally like every day you got to wake up, chop wood, carry water, and in that process, you will find enlightenment from actually doing the work. It's not something that you're waiting to build up and get rewarded with. It is rather like the work itself, which is the reward.
Dude, you are so zen, bro. You have reached enlightenment, haven't you? Oh my God. No wonder you kill it in acting class, bro. You are fucking present.
Yeah,
Oh
are we
my
going to
God.
talk about the fact that we take acting, or we used to before the Great Quar?
You haven't done the Zoom
No,
classes?
I don't want to do it. Zoom acting
It sucks.
class.
They suck balls, but we do it. It's because
Yeah.
you know I love the work.
Yeah.
I chop wood, carry water before COVID. I'm chopping wood, carrying water now. It is really strange to do a scene, and it's like very intimate.
Yeah.
And you're like leaning into the screen.
trying not to capture, like, see yourself acting, you know?
Just oh my God! I used to leave the fucking screen. Actually, speaking of which, let me get rid of my fucking. I got me up on the thing. I got to get myself out of here because I'll keep looking. There it is. All right, no, that's great, and I completely agree with that. Love the work, and you know, I went through like my existential crisis a few years ago, and it's the same. I'm just able to enjoy the stuff that I do.
Yes.
Even more now because it's like, no, I love the work's the best part. All the goals, all the shit that you get. It's like, it's Christmas. It only lasts one day, but then you have 364 days after that.
100%.
Dude.
Also, just to go back, I don't know if everyone who listens to this podcast realizes what a good actor Josh is. Like, he's so fucking good, man. Like, it's so enjoyable to watch you. This is such a dorky, like, actor thing, but it's so enjoyable to watch you work, man.
Thank you, brother. Well, casting people, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Because I ain't booking shit right now, dude. God, it's
nothing
coming,
to do with talent, my friend.
Nothing to thank you. I appreciate that. Same to you, and your wife, dude. One of my favorite things ever was doing this scene with me and your wife from American Hustle.
Yes,
and it was just, dude, we like worked on it,
intense,
and it was, dude, it was honestly the one time that Myra was like, you know. The one note was so minuscule. She's like, you just missed this one thing. And I was like, it's like, because dude, I mean, you can, for everybody listening, our acting coach is a genius, Myra Turley. If you need an acting coach, go to her. But we're scared of her.
Yeah, everybody is.
Everybody's
as you should
scared
be.
Of her. For sure. Yeah. I want that fucking, like, you know, like, to get her approval means so much, especially when it's like when I showed up, I was so raw and just like all over the place. And that's the thing of why I do the Zoom classes right now, Kurt, because I don't respond to the email. And then she goes, why aren't you taking the class? And I'm like, well, now I am because I'm afraid of you. And you're fucking, that was really sweet of you to say that. I appreciate that, man. And like I said, same to you, dude. All right. Hyper ballad.
Yeah.
So, this to me is the most Bjork song ever.
100%.
100%. It is all the Bjork shit. It has eyes opening, going through a list, mountains, cliffs, flying, and bottles and cutlery. And that is, if you write a Bjork song, you need silverware, you need something flying, you need fucking mountains. This is the fourth single, and it's so well loved by her fans that in a poll to see which other song should be on her greatest hits, this received the most votes.
Oh, hands down it should. It's a great song. We gonna listen to it?
Yeah, sure. Turn it, JT, play the ending where it goes into a full-on rave party.
You know, when I was just re-listening to the record, I always listened to the song and I always like identified with it during the time when it was came out because it's about throwing stuff off of like a cliff and watching it like break on the way down.
Yeah.
And I was really into doing like just breaking things, you know? Like I was just like, I would just get like wax poetic about like the beauty of breaking a glass bottle and shit because I was just like drunk and high all the time. But when I was listening to it a couple days ago, I realized that it's kind of a song about being with like a really like a maybe it is being with a guy who's like not super exciting, so she wakes up early in the morning and does a thing that like feels dangerous and scares her a little bit so that then she can come back and feel safe with this kind of boring guy.
Well,
I don't know if that's what it is about, but it definitely, there's a reading that can be made there.
so that's funny you say that. So she wrote this about that critical time in a relationship at about 3 years where you're stressed that you'll never get another shot at love. So you only show your partner your sweet side and direct your aggression and dissatisfaction anywhere else.
Oh, look at that. Slightly different, but I like
Slightly
that better.
different. Slightly different. Well, Bjork's, she's a sweet soul, man.
And she's
a
deep.
very, very sweet soul. Oh,
She is
so
as-
I wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
you go.
she is as deep as that mountain is tall, baby.
So I wanted to ask you because we mentioned your wife, Lauren.
Yeah.
So you guys, of course, you live together. You have kids together, and now you guys are writing a show together.
Yes.
What do you do if you need a break? Not in the relationship, but just during COVID, being stuck in the house. Like, how do you separate when you guys are so, just assimilated with one another?
We have done breaks where like one person, like I go camping. I get like 24 hours to just go camping. We've done that twice since COVID, and we're gonna do where, and then she's also gotten a break for 24 hours to just go to a hotel, and so now we're gonna do it. That same thing again, where she gets another break because I just had my break for my birthday, and so she gets her break for her birthday.
How does it come about? You guys are just like, but the trash is laying there. You're gonna clean up the. You know what? I need a break. I need a break.
I actually find with the way that the notes work with the network project, it's kind of perfect because it's like a couple days of really intense work, like working all day with each other, and then we send it off for notes, and then there's nothing to do, so then we both get to go and do our separate things. I usually go surfing, and Lauren goes for walks or exercises, and we just kind of like break that way.
Oh God, I'm so jealous. I want a break from the relationship I'm not even in. I just want to I'm going to San Diego this weekend. I just need a break, dude. I've been gone for the last 3 months from LA. I got back, had to go to Minnesota, got back. I'm going to San Diego and getting back, going to New York. So
Are you doing gigs?
I am. Yeah, I was at House of Comedy this weekend, or last weekend. Then I'm at American Comedy Company performing on a street corner.
On the street, yeah, they just ended that because I saw Brooks' thing, and I was like, I just gotta, I don't feel comfortable going inside yet, but I would be like, I would go out, I would do a show out on the street, but they're moving it inside. They're moving it inside I guess maybe the week after you're there.
Oh, fuck, man. Yeah.
So it's just we're the opposite. You want to be inside, I want to be outside.
Dude, I've had COVID. I have antibodies.
Oh, you did?
Nice.
Dude,
I'll fucking lick anybody. I don't give a shit, dude. I am down for the cause. All right. Next one, Modern Things, great song. Let's get to It's Oh So Quiet.
Oh yeah. That's the one.
So before I give mine, you tell me yours. Tell me about your thoughts, your feelings about this song.
Again, this one is so tied to the video for me. This is Spike Jonze directed video, right? It feels very Spike Jonze.
It is, yeah.
But I think it was because I'd listened to the album, and when you're listening to an album sonically, I think a lot of things just kind of get pushed together. But then when you see the video, it's now you have this spotlight of this way to think about this song, and I love I just keep thinking about that dancing. There's a mailbox that she comes up and mails something, and then it jumps up and starts dancing, and it's just so fucking great. And then there's that ending shot where she steps out onto a crane right where the camera is, and then it just shoots up into the air, and you can see the entire set behind her.
Yeah,
so
that is badass.
Fucking awesome. It was just in that video really just inspired me with a lot of the early comedy videos that I was making. So I was just obsessed with Michelle Gondry and Spike Jonze, and that sound. That's how I feel about me starting comedy around 2005.
Dude, I have the exact opposite thoughts on this. I think this is the worst song on the record. I really do. I know. And it didn't start that way. When it came out, I liked it, but just over the years, I have seen so many drunk girls sing this at karaoke.
Oh.
And then when I started listening to the record again, I just started finding myself drawn to the darker stuff like fucking like Enjoy. Like, dude, the beat on Enjoy, which we're gonna play in a second, is like I fucking love that. And with this, I just don't think it fits on the record. If any, maybe in the place that it's at, if she would have moved this to the last song on the record, I think then I would have been like, oh, this is perfect. What a fun way to end the album. But it's just, and listen, I'm not going to say that I hate everything about it, because this part, I know. But I got it, man. But I think this part is really, really lovely when the bells come in. JT, play 233.
Till it's over and then.
That's really nice.
It's really nice, you know? All right, I don't want to hear it kicking. No, I don't want to hear it kicking.
I have never, ever seen anyone ever do Bjork karaoke, and I love that you've seen so many drunk girls do Bjork karaoke that it has poisoned this. Yeah, I'm serious. I've never seen anyone do Bjork karaoke. I don't know.
Oh
yeah.
my God!
I can understand why they're choosing that. It's probably real fun to do.
It's like, you fall in love, zig boom, and I'm just like, this bitch. All right,
you know what
it
does now? Now it makes me think of La La Land. Do you know what I mean? Like it has that kind of, but you know, it was 1996 instead.
Yeah. Dude, it was huge. I remember, like, my buddy Ryan McLaughlin, who I mentioned earlier, he fucking loved this song. And I think this was actually the song that made him buy the record. And I think probably a lot of people got into Bjork because of this, and then listened to the rest of the record and was like, what the? This isn't Oh So Quiet. This is the exact opposite.
Yeah, no shit.
So, Morty, she didn't write this.
No, she did a standard on her first record also. But she was sort of against doing, old-fashioned standards. This third single is a cover of Betty Hutton's 51 cover of a 1948 German song called Und jetzt ist es still.
Ooh.
And it's her biggest mainstream hit, which is why you have your girls, your drunk girls doing it. Yeah, exactly. But she liked the narrative structure of the song as opposed to what she thought was like, pop songs having 900 different ways of saying she left me. So she took that as being the reason that she took to doing this standard. And the video part that I think is most that you guys were drawn to, or that you were drawn to, by Spike Jonze. It's based on the 1964 French musical The Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
Oh, that makes sense.
Starring Catherine Deneuve, which the interesting part is then cool. Bjork, 5 years later, when she does Lars von Trier's Dancer in the Dark movie, her co-star is Catherine Deneuve.
Whoa.
So it's sort of a big circle
Full
again,
circle.
And it's a musical.
Dude,
so it's very interesting.
Kurt, you ever seen Dancer in the Dark?
I haven't. I have to see it. I can't believe I haven't seen it. Is it awesome?
Well,
not happy.
Dude, it's not
it's not Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
That's why I haven't seen it. Do you know what I mean? Because I remember when it came out, and everyone was like, "It is so dark," and I was just like, "I don't know if I can handle it, guys."
Dude,
you know Lars von Trier's, right?
Yeah. Dude.
Take half a sheet of acid. Don't go full.
Oh, I would never, ever take. Don't even know psychedelics with his movies, dude. He did the one that does. It's called Dogville, where it's just Nicole Kidman getting raped by this town for 3.5 hours. He did Antichrist, where you see William Dafoe's dick, his real penis. It might not have been his penis, but. I don't know. JT, can you find out if it's Willem Dafoe's penis? And if you can
you play 3 inches of his penis?
Yeah, I want to see.
Start at 3 3/4 inch.
Yeah,
yeah.
But it's all of his movies are just like they're great for like the cinematic and like the story. Like you have no idea what's going to happen, and it's very emotionally driven. But it's like all of his movies are tough to watch.
Isn't there one that's just like white lines on the ground is the only set?
Dogville.
That
was Dogville. I saw that in the theater, and it's like 3 hours and 45 minutes. We saw it opening night. Opening night.
He has that Dog Me 95, where he has like a competition. I believe that's him, where they make the movies, and the rules are there's like no lighting.
Yeah, only natural light.
Sound,
yeah.
Natural sound, all lighting, like no script. No, like whatever. It's like it's basically as real as you can get while still filming something.
Yeah,
which is fascinating.
I mean, I love his movies. The Breaking the Waves was the first one that I saw, and it's brilliant. It's a brilliant film. But once again, it's just dark. It's so dark. But so yeah, man, when you get to go away on one of your like, retreats by yourself, just fucking go surfing. Do not. Can you imagine a Lars von Trier like film like we're gonna do like a like a marathon, and just by the end of it you're just like, all right, dude, I gotta call my mom, man. I gotta apologize for
It says it was a body double. It was a penis double.
It was a penis double.
A
Can we see
PD.
it?
Stunt cock.
Not a double penis.
Stunt cock.
Don't pull it up. Don't pull it up unless you got it like there.
Unless you pull it up twice.
Share
you're
the
playing with it.
screen. Is anybody behind you? Is your kids away, Kurt?
Yep, they're away.
Okay, show us, Willem. Now, okay, show us. I think penises are fascinating.
I don't have
it?
proof. I don't have
Okay,
visual
don't worry
proof.
about it.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
I believe it's pronounced a Djurk. It's pronounced a Djurk.
Dirk.
Yeah.
Dear
All right,
Diggler.
I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about Enjoy, but I think that this beat is the hardest shit on the record. It's my favorite beat.
Yeah, let's hear it.
JT, play 114. This is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Not
I love
the
that.
fucking 40s stuff. This is what I want, man. That's what I love. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get on to then you've been flirting again. That's good. Let's get to Isabel.
Yeah.
This might be my favorite song on the record.
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, man. Peter, play Peter, let me take it again. JT, play 217.
When she does it, she means to. Most delivers and
All right. This is like a song that I feel showcases why Bjork is so talented, and it shows the strength of her voice. It's like
Yeah.
the notes she can hit. Even when it sounds like it's about to go sideways and she's about to go flat or go off key, it's just this sharp like thing, and she stays on there. I think people need to like really just like give her the kudos that she deserves of being this incredible vocalist. Like incredible.
And with a style that there's no other person in popular music who sings the way she sings. It is
At
so
all.
idiosyncratic and specific. It just it's amazing.
I completely
I
agree.
hear a female Bono sometimes. I think Bono's one of those ones that can get there because they can both get to their high range and then crack and make it sound like curdling or breathtaking. That's the closest I've heard. I wish they had done a duet.
Oh,
That's the one thing. To this day, I think
Get it out.
a duet
There it
between
is.
Bono. I know. I want to say duet.
Morty's having
and
a
I'm
stroke.
screwed up with all this Icelandic. I have 900 words for snow. I can't say duet.
Like,
So yeah, no, it's yeah. So I think Bono and Bjork together doing a duet would be
Stop
The
calling her
commitment.
Bjork,
Time
The
dude.
Bjork.
commitment to speaking in an Icelandic accent is amazing. Morty. It is amazing.
Yeah, she
Commit to
really
the bit.
sells it.
No. So
Yeah.
so this is a modern day fairy tale about a girl magically born in the forest. This is so Bjork. This is so Bjork. Confronting the growing urban world around her. So it's kind of about nature and instinct versus civilization and intellectualizing.
Is this the video
Intellectualized.
where the audience there's like a story upon a story upon a story? Or no, that's a different one. Do you know what I'm talking about? I think it was a Michelle Gondry directed video too, where then there's a play, like she writes a book and then the book gets. No, I think that's called Story of Me. It's a different.
Yeah.
It's maybe
I
off
don't
the
know that
first
one.
album.
Is there anything interesting about this, Morty?
Yeah, well, so for this, she knew she wanted to write this idea for the album. She had a book of lyrical ideas, but she couldn't get it done and she couldn't complete it. So she asked for help as we talked. Remember, I talked earlier about the guy named Sion
Yes.
that had played with her prior to that. So her old Icelandic bandmate from before Sugar Cubes was a guy named Sion, who was already a well-known poet, novelist, and playwright and lyricist in Iceland. And he helped her finish this off, and they've continued to collaborate on, I think, 5 or 6 of her albums since then. So this is the one that really that got them together on
So did she produce this herself, this song? Or is it someone else?
producing. I didn't I think this might have been a co-production. I think most of the record was a co-production. He just helped write the lyrics for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have that right in front of me if somebody wants to dash it, but
JT, if you could look that up, if you could give us a little skadoodle on it.
Just about that to tell the one thing is the first song. So just because I think it's interesting while he's looking that up, just for a sec, is Army of Me and Modern Things, or whatever the one is called. What's it called? The Modern Things were both written before this album. Those two songs came out. They were written by Graham Massey and her, but Nellie Hooper came on and she was like, I'm just going to do the whole record with Nellie.
Wait,
so she had a couple aces in her hole for this album. She
so
had
I want to ask you this, Morty, because you keep talking about Graham Massey and you talk about the acid. It's Acid House.
Acid House. Before they shortened it.
Is Army of Me Acid House?
No, it's more trip hop. I think if we were to call it something, a little more downbeat. But he came from 808 State, which is the huge, like a huge raver, pre-raver acid house type band, Manchester, England, Hacienda sort of thing. So he was already like a pioneer of that type of music. So when she hooked up, remember, look at who she has for this record: Massive Attack people, 808 State people. Tricky's coming up. So she's got like big sound system people on this record, and she's at 95. She is the perfect artist to take what they sort of cultured that they built and to take it and go, I'm going to make a whole record with this power behind it.
Can we also just take a minute, Fleece Army, and just realize that Manchester, England is the best part of fucking England, dude. Everything good is coming out of there. Fucking Stone Roses, Oasis, Portishead.
The Laws.
Not Portishead.
What are you talking about? They're from
Portishead
Brixton.
sort of.
They're
Brixton,
actually right.
Yeah, but it's that Manchester and Brixton are top and bottom.
Okay, dude.
Manchester's all the way at the top.
Right. This isn't a geography
The Smiths.
course. It's
sorry. The Smiths.
The Smiths. Yeah, dude. All
New Order.
Happy Mondays. Yeah.
Right,
By the time this runs, you can already talk about. I'm saying if you want, by the time this runs, you can already talk about. Jim talked about Manchester on I think the last episode.
Yes, on the Oasis one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you ever hear that story about the Laws, about that Laws record?
No, tell us.
Is apparently, so I don't know the guy's name, but he, the guy who was the Laws had
Lee Childers.
Yes, and he was like spending so long re-recording all of these songs that finally the record company told the producer to take it away from him and then just put it out, and then that Laws record became so big, and it's like There She Goes was like the fucking #1 hit, and to this day Lee Childers hates the album and swears that he's going to re-record it, and he's furious and disavows one of the most popular records ever made.
Really? Yeah, they're Liverpudlians, and that's absolutely true.
Oh, that's Liverpool? I thought it was Manchester.
No, well, I mean we're talking about the top, near Scotland. But yeah, no, that's an incredible album too. I don't know if it's on here, but it should be.
I bet it's not.
With the song There She Goes?
Yeah.
Yeah, the record. The record's incredible. The Laws.
I mean, that's the only song I know by him, so. I thought when you kept saying The Laws, I thought you were talking about that rapper, The Locks. I was like, oh, The Locks is from England? I remember The Locks. I didn't know
he's dope.
Kurt.
Yes.
Are you a nature guy?
Yes.
How do you stay connected to the earth?
Oh, lots of trying to go on hikes,
Big hiker.
Yeah, and then I recently started backpacking. I had never backpacked, always car camped. But like where growing up, where I would car camp was like this. It was land, so like your car was at the bottom of a big hill, mountain almost. So it never felt like car camping, because you were in the middle of like nowhere in upstate New York. But yeah, so I just started backpacking. I want to do the PCT at some point. So I might do it in kind of like sections as I get time, as the kids get older, drag them along.
PCT.
The Pacific Crest Trail, baby.
Oh.
Starts in Mexico, ends in Canada.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Goes through Manchester and then up through Liverpool.
Like right up to Liverpool, right at the end.
But you also surf, though.
Yeah.
And that's like your shit, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's like the easiest way to like, if you don't have a ton of time, that gets you that nature fix real fast, just to be out in the water.
Aren't you afraid of sharks?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like every once in a while. I mean, like once I've been truly scared. I think once. Sometimes you're like it's if it's like overcast and you're alone, and like there's like a murkiness to it. Sometimes you can get a little spooked, but usually it quells and goes away. But once I was surfing in Australia, right around the corner from Byron Bay, and it's this long stretch of beach, and we had slept in a camper van out front, me and my brother and I, and then I went to go surf 6 a.m. I'm out. You have to walk through the bush to get to this beach. And this beach is like 10 miles long. Nobody's there. It's just me. It's fucking beautiful. I'm out surfing, and it's like just like really choppy, and it shouldn't be out, but I was like, I only have 3 days on this surf trip. I'm going to surf no matter what the conditions are. And I'm out, and I just start getting like a really like sharky vibe and really like kind of like freaked out. And because I realized, like, if something happens here, like, I'm dead. Like, we are so far away. There's no humans. My brother's asleep in a camper van, like a hike through the forest. He doesn't even know that I came out here yet. And then all of a sudden, right at that, like, a whole, like 3 dolphins happen to, like, come up at the same time, but on either side of me. And I screamed so loud, like, they all, like, like, breached and, like, got, took a breath. And I screamed so loud. And of course, if all these dolphins are there, there's probably not sharks there. But I was just like, that's it, I'm out of here. And I like immediately paddled in. And then I read that on that stretch, like a very famous shark attack had happened for a professional Australian surfer like in the 80s. And so and the people like, nobody surfs there because it's known to be very sharky.
And you were just out there
by myself,
like,
6 a.m.
There he goes. There he goes. Dude, I cannot go in the ocean and feel masculine, because if anything touches my foot or my leg, I am like, it's all of it. Like, I will never go to the beach with a woman that I'm interested in unless we've been dating for over a year.
Oh, I love that. But that's like such a way to show how vulnerable you can be. Just be like, look, I'm going to be really scared in the ocean when we go. People, they would love it. The ladies would love it.
Okay.
I grew up near the ocean, so that's why I don't. I've just been in it since a little kid. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up the Washington, D.C. area.
Oh, right.
My sister now lives by Ocean City, Maryland. Are you from the part of Jersey where, did you ever see that MTV like True Life like Jersey Shore thing where the guys, you know what I'm talking about, where the guys like, I want my goddamn cheese balls?
No.
Do you know that?
No, I don't.
Can you find it, Jeremiah? Can you see if you can look it up? So type in like True Life MTV Jersey, these are the buzzwords, and then cheese balls, and then see if you can find it.
Cheese balls.
I was, we used to go to Ocean City, Maryland. I hardly ever went into the water. Even here now in Los Angeles, being it's fucking a 15, 20-minute drive, like, I hardly ever go. And that sucks because I'm planning on moving to New York, and I'm like, man, I never spent any fucking time at the beach here.
You're moving?
I think so, yeah. I'm almost positive. Dude, I really, really want to be the best comic I can be.
Yeah.
And I don't think here, with the credits that I have, I can get the amount of spots that will make me happy.
Yeah.
And you know it, dude. It's like this town isn't based on funny. It's based on, all right, this guy's got 100, a million followers on Instagram, and they're gonna put him up, and it's just, I don't know.
There's just so much more. There's so much more stage time. There's so much more quality stage time in New York.
Exactly. Yeah. They're all the clubs because I've been spending so much time there, they've all been like, you're thinking about moving here? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, we'll work you, dude. We'll work you. So it might be for a year. It might be for 2 years. Either way, I'm going to be coming back here a lot, especially if the Comedy Store opens and I can do my main room show. I'll be back at least once a month. But that's what I want. I want to be bi-coastal.
Yeah.
That's
and you can
really
be.
it.
Why not?
Yes. It's the time. I'm 41. It's time. Did you find the cheese ball thing, Jer?
There it is.
Is this it?
Turn it up. Yes, this is it.
Oh, I didn't do it with the audio.
Oh, you fucker.
It'll fuck up my audio if I do it.
True Life.
Right,
I have a summer share. Was this like before they did Jersey Shore? This seems like it's the lead up.
this is why they did Jersey Shore, because of this guy. This guy is such a fucking hand job. He gets into fights. He over cheese balls.
Over cheese balls, like literal cheese balls.
Like cheese.
You are
like,
what you eat.
He's just like he's got. Like,
He
look at
looks
the
like a cheese
Corleone.
ball. He looks like a collection of
Yeah.
cheese balls.
He is a cheese ball. All right, let's move on we'll get the audio later. All right, the next one I want to talk about is possibly maybe play here, Jeremiah. Play 146.
Uncertainty excites me, baby. Who knows what's going to happen? Laughter, your car crash, or you join a car.
Kill it. This is why I love Bjork, because she said, like, if you read those lyrics, you know, it's like, how could she fit that in and still make it in the cadence of the song? And it's just like, she is so good at the inflections and moving and saying the words that it's like, it just fits, and then it all comes together.
It's
And
incredible.
This is probably the most trip-hoppy song on the record.
I was just gonna ask, would this be considered trip hop?
That's
Yeah.
trip-hop,
Okay.
yeah, dude.
Yes.
Thoughts on this?
I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, I think it's a great song. I don't have any specific stories for this one. I just
don't
fucking, it just, and also the fact that beat is just a little bit off. It kind of keeps catching a little bit is just
Yeah.
so fucking cool.
I love this one, especially, dude, if you were like tripping balls like you were, like if you needed this to come on. Like at a certain point after fucking Isabel, like possibly maybe just kind of sets you like, okay, no, like I need my skin. You're like, my skin's good. Like not freaking out too much. There is a lyric though that I wanted to see if you guys think this is what I think it is. JT, play 120.
I wouldn't mind, perhaps, spending little time with you.
Wait,
Sometimes.
I don't think that's it.
Possibly, maybe.
Here, I got it right here. I'll pull it up. Let me do this.
Was that too late? Was it after?
I think it's right after that. Here, hold on. I got it. We're doing possibly maybe. Let me go to 120. Here we go.
Spending
Wait,
little time
that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Fuck. Give me 1 second.
Right now, it sounds like the nationwide is on your side, because everything sounds like that. Because all I watch is MSNBC. By the way, it's Lee Mavers. I'm going to kill myself if I don't say that.
Lee Mavers.
From the laws.
Fuck.
From the laws. Like, I wish we could put that in.
You got to put
Like,
it
it's
back
driving me
in.
bananas that I said
Hold on.
Childers and Childer. Yeah, Lee Mavers.
Let me just pull up. I got to pull up the lyrics to find out where it is.
I kick my own ass for saying that wrong.
All right. It's coming up here. Oh, wait. Okay, it's coming up. There it is. Oh, it was 220, you fucking idiot. Here we go. Your erections and disasters. Does everybody hear that? Does everybody hear that?
Perfect.
She's not saying it, but it stopped me. And I was like, holy shit. Fucking Bjork wants the D, dude. Bjork is all about the D. So this song was the 5th single. It went to number 13 on the UK charts. It was co-written with Nelly Hooper. And how do you say that name, Morty?
Marius DeVries, and shout out to Marius, who is a friend. So
You
gotta
know
give a
fucking
shout.
everybody, bro. You're
Yeah, you know.
You're the Dean Del Rey of music. If anybody
don't
gets
know
that
him.
reference. So she described this as the first unhappy song that she wrote.
What?
And after some writers, yeah, dude. After some writer's block, this poured out about her failed relationship with French photographer. Go ahead, Morty, say that.
Stefan Sednawi.
Perfect. Who also directed the music video. And cool fact, each verse melody is different to represent the changing feelings during each month of the relationship.
Holy shit. And also imagine for Bjork what writer's block means. That means like for an hour she couldn't write. Do you know what I mean? Like she's been fucking producing music from 11 she's been already at 20, has been doing it for 9 years, has written how many albums? Like eight albums by the time she's 20. Jesus Christ.
A prodigy. So I wanted to ask you, being that the first unhappy song, because I didn't even really look at this song as unhappy.
No.
Let's talk comedy. What's the most unfunny thing to happen to you that you've made funny?
Probably. I mean, I have my mom died of cancer 3 years ago, and kind of I have this piece that's going to be on my next special. That's kind of like this long story about this Dinosaur Jr. concert. While my mom was dying, that I think it's pretty funny. I mean, I know it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's kind of all about dealing, not like being overcome by the emotions of having a dying parent in a kind of inappropriate situation. And then trying to write comedy about it and failing.
I mean, it is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Is like to take something like that. But it's what's so great about comedy is that these things that we like, either it is something that we did that we're not, that we might judge ourselves from, is like, what's so great is that you could tell that story on a podcast and people fall in love with it. And then next thing you know, this negative thing becomes this beautifully positive thing that people are attracted to. And so yeah, dude, when are you planning on shooting the special?
August in Denver.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where at Comedy Works?
Gothic,
dude, mushrooms legal out there, bro.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, wow. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's perfect.
Yeah, dude.
That's literally my favorite. They're my favorite. Just a little bit of mushrooms is like, what a pleasant way to go about your day.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't put this on the air, but if you need mushrooms, I have the best guy.
Okay, great.
Yeah, perfect.
Great.
You really want to be present? You want to act? Take trip balls and do a scene together? We'll kill it, dude. All right. I Miss You. Great song. Cover Me.
Cover Me and Headphones I've never connected with. Those two songs at the end I've always, when they come on, I was like, I literally was playing the album again. I was like, wait, have I ever listened to these two songs? And I listened to them. I was like, I guess maybe I have, but they've never left an impression.
Yeah, I completely agree. There is some interesting shit about this. Morty, go ahead and tell us.
Yeah.
So just to give you this one. So for Cover Me, what's interesting is she worked with Nelly Hooper on the first album. And then she basically sort of wrote this to him. We talked about how a lot of these were like letters to people. She wrote this to him, sort of making fun of herself and a way of showing her admiration for him, to kind of talk him into working with her again. So that she'd work on this. So she was sort of showing her belly, so to speak, so that she could get him to work with him again, because she admittedly said it's a lot to work with me. I get, and so, yeah. So if you do this, by the way, this is for you. And then the really interesting is a lot of the vocals for the album were recorded in Nassau, the Bahamas.
Yes.
This one in particular, she recorded in a cave infested with bats.
Whoa.
So listen carefully.
Here,
if you happen to have it, listen
we
carefully.
We got it. Jared,
and you'll
play
hear sort of the tonality of the room.
I crawl into the unknown. Cover me.
All right, that's it.
That's
this is what I'm
great.
talking about. You were talking about how hard it is to work with Bjork. Is that would be her idea, to go to a fucking cave, and you're like, all right. So I set the mic up. I'm just gonna go wait outside. Just let me know when you're done.
Another song I heard, they extended the mic cord out of the studio so that she could sing on the beach to the ocean.
It's the most Bjork shit I've
It
ever
is the most Bjork
heard
shit. Also,
in my
totally,
life.
really,
Yeah.
really, 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 really reminds me of working with my comedy partner, Kristen Shaw. Very Bjork and Kristen Shaw are very, very similar.
Well, tell me, how are they similar?
I mean, like that Kristen, like literally, I remember Kristen would do stuff like that, where we would that would be her idea. She'd be like, well, that's beautiful. Of course we should do an entire sketch about just ghosts on the beach. And I'm just, that's Kristen to a T, of let's go shoot it on the beach and we'll record it while I sing to the ocean.
That's so dope.
Yeah. It's a true
if-
art. It's just like an artist, just being an artist.
And you guys are doing Hot Tub online right now, but as soon as we get back together, you guys are going to start doing it again at the Virgil.
At the Virgil.
And I've told you this, the worst bomb of my life was 2013 at Hot Tub.
Whoa.
Dude, I was right after I did New Faces, TJ Miller. He was like, I told him I wanted to do Hot Tub. He got me on to Joel, talked to Joel. They put me on. Dude, I bombed so hard that the only time I got a laugh was when I looked at the audience and went, wow, you guys hate me. And then the huge laugh.
Oh, no.
I
don't remember at all.
Oh, God. Dude, Kurt, let me tell you something. I carried around that bomb for years until I after the jam we recorded, and I've been really working at stand up again, and I remember I hit up Joel and I was like, Joel, and I told him the whole story. I was like, dude, I carry that bomb around with me. I need to make it right. Can I go back on? And then it was maybe 2018, September 2018, and he put me back on, and I fucking murdered. And it was like just the greatest like washing of like that energy. And then I was like, a couple months later, I was like, Joel, can I get back on the show? And he goes, yeah, we're booked up right now. I still remember that 2013 one. It was really, really bad. It was great. Dude, I needed that. Dude, I needed that so fucking bad.
I love that story.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, now I want to ask you this. Where's the strangest place you ever had a gig?
Strangest place was, I think, there's always, once was in a fucking... all of them have been corporate gigs, the worst ones, Worst. But I remember Kristen and I did this gig, and I did one in LA where it was like I just came into someone's office, and then they like at lunch it was just like 8 people, and I just did like a half hour, and they paid they paid me well, and I was like, great, but it was fucking so awful. But with Kristen, this was like right after we both started together, probably 2005 or 2006, and we got booked corporate gig. And we just like asked, like, so we just do a show? And they're like, yeah, just do a show. And then we show up at like 8 p.m. on a Friday night or whatever. And it is just where we're performing is a conference room. And so it has a big table that goes down the middle. So then we're just like at one end of the conference table. And then just at the table are like executives. They seem to be like high-powered executives. And then we're the only act. We're supposed to just do 20 minutes. So they're like doing whatever their fucking business meeting is. And then we come in to do 20 minutes of our very weird sketch comedy. And so about 8 minutes in, there was only like, 7 or 8 people watching. Oh. And about 7 or 8 minutes in, the woman closest to the stage out loud, like talking. I don't know if she was like asserting dominance or if she didn't realize she was talking out loud. She just said, "Oh no, this is terrible."
Oh my God.
And then it was just out loud, and no one had been laughing anyway, so we knew no one liked it. But she literally said, "Oh no, this is terrible." Like she just realized it and it came out of her mouth. And then we had to like finish up doing our show and like do the rest of the 20 minutes. And then we like got our check and left, and it was totally worth it.
That check had never been sweeter though.
Yeah, no shit.
It was worth it, 100%.
It was worth it.
It's like I'm getting a flat screen tomorrow. So you see that, honey? You see that flat screen we're watching? Yeah, that's the bomb of my life, right there.
What's yours?
All right. The weirdest place, the rave in Baltimore. I did a rave.
No, you did not. You did a stand-up?
I've told this story on the podcast a bunch, but the short thing is my buddy throws this huge party in Baltimore called Starscape, a rave of like 50, 60,000 people.
Still now?
Well, not now, but he does. There's a variation of it called Moonrise Festival.
Okay.
Actually, my buddy Evan, during COVID, started making Detroit-style pizzas. It's called Underground Pizza. It's some of the best pizza I've ever had in my life. He ships them overnight all over the country. This is what's so great about COVID is that the shit shuts down. He can't produce shows. He starts making pizzas, posting about it. People start asking, hey, man, can I get one of those? Next thing you know, he's selling them out of his car. He's doing pop-ups, open up a brick and mortar in Power Plant Live.
Nice. Holy shit.
And it's like the most popular pizza place in Baltimore, and it deserves to be. It's incredible. JT, well, let's give him a shout out maybe in the notes because I get so much free pizza. It's bomb.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I was going back to Maryland to be for my mom's retirement party, and I noticed that Starscape was going on, and I said, hey man, I'm going to be there. Can I go to the party? And he goes, yeah. He's like, do you want to host this stage? And I was like, yeah, why not? It's like bands. So I'd go up in between and kind of introduce them and do shit like that. Then day of, he goes, hey man, I don't need you all day. Just come, make sure you're there at 11. I'm going to need you for some time between this one big breakdown and a big setup. And when I got there, the guy's like, so yeah, you're going to do an hour.
What?
And there's like 2,000 people, all ravers on drugs. And this is the best part is that you'll appreciate this shit is that, so I get to the carny / sound dude. And I go, he gives me the mic. He goes, all right, so there's your stage. Go up. And it's like a small stage in between, like right below the main stage. And there's like kind of like, I guess, in the area where the press would take photos, where there's like the little gate. So the audience is here. And I'm like in this little space about 6 feet long. And then the big stage is behind me. And I go, well, aren't you going to introduce me? He goes, no. And I'm like, come on, man. And I go, all right, listen here. I'll write my name down. I write my name down, Josh Adam Myers. And then I go, oh, can you, because I'm like maybe a year into stand-up, Kurt.
No,
I'm like,
no,
can
no.
you? Yeah. I'm like, dude, I was like, tell him I did Letterman. Because I'm thinking that they'll,
all the ravers are going to be like, whoa, Letterman.
Oh shit. This guy did Ferguson? All right, let's tune in. And I swear to God, the carny goes, all right, y'all, this dude said he did Leatherman. Give it up for Jimmy Josh Adams. I walk up there as Jimmy Josh Adams from Leatherman and eat a shit sandwich.
Did you stay on stage?
For the full hour. People threw beers at me, threw glow sticks. Glow sticks were easy because you could see them coming. The beers hurt. The only thing that was dope about it was I started, because, dude, I wrote all this, like, rave material. I was like, oh, this will take 20 minutes. I went through the rave material in, like, a minute. And then I did all of my material within 3 minutes. So I was just grasping at straws and, like, trying to find anything. And I saw this one kid rolling face right in the front, and I brought him on stage as like a human shield. And then I started interviewing him and asking him questions, and then I started getting some chuckles. And then I brought this like hot chick up, and I interviewed her, and I was like, well, where's your boyfriend? And her boyfriend was just such a fucking like raver hand job with like wings and the big goggles, like looked like Seth Green from Can't Hardly Wait. And it just, but by the end of it, this is what's dope, because it was a rite of passage. This is one of those things where it's like, I don't care, man. I'm not getting off until they light me. And I mean, I ate shit, but at the end I go, all right, everybody, that's my time. And dude, 2,000 people just like, yeah, applauding. And then I go, if you guys didn't like me on the count of 3, everybody give me the finger and say, fuck you. I'm like, 1, 2, 3. And it's like just 2,000 hands like, fuck yeah. And then, dude, this is the best part, Kurt. I walk off stage and I go in the background and fucking everybody, I'm like a star. Everybody's like, sup, Jimmy Josh? I'm like, yo, what's going on?
That's
yo?
your Baltimore name. Old
that
Jimmy
is
Josh
Adams, dude. Yeah, dude. It's still to this day. I'm glad. One of the most proudest shows I've ever fucking done. The fact that I stayed up there for an hour. That's why you don't give up, because somehow, some way, that bomb helped me to where I am today. All right, so the album ends with Headphones. I fucking love the song. I know that this is a closing track that was co-written and produced with trip-hop pioneer Tricky around the same time that they were romantically involved. And she wrote this about receiving a mixtape and described it as a love letter to sound, the sound of sound, resonances, frequencies, silences, and such, a music worship thing, and dedicated it to Graham Massey. Beautiful song. Still think she should have ended the album with So Quiet. Thoughts on this? None? Good. That's how I feel about it. What's the greatest mixtape you ever got or made?
Oh, man, the greatest mixtape. I think there was a mixtape I still wish I had. It was made by my roommate, Hank Baker from Louisville, Kentucky, and it was all like Louisville music from around like 1989 to 1995. So it like had some Slint on it, had some Rodan on it. It had, stuff like I don't even remember the majority of it. I remember it started off with this one Rodan song, which was fucking amazing. That was like, it was just a perfect little mixtape, and it was like 120 minutes, and it would just flip over inside my car tape deck. We would just listen to it all the time, usually on acid.
Yeah, dude. You're the Timothy Leary of comedy, bro.
I haven't done acid in years.
Well,
acid is like, as a dad, I'm just like, I would love to do acid. Do I have 12 hours of free time that I can schedule? No, that's called being an adult, not being able to schedule 12 hours to do acid.
When you go on one of your breaks, bro. When you go on one of your breaks.
Yep.
All right, let's do some facts. We'll get out of here. How are we going to do this? Like, am I reading them, Morty, or do you want to back them up, or...
Yeah, I mean, you read them, Josh, and then like for the ones that have
throw it however you want to do it. Throw it to me, I'll throw it back.
All right, so the Michelle Gondry directed Army of Me video was banned after the 95 Oklahoma City bombing because of a scene where Bjork puts a bomb in a museum.
Whoa.
Do we have that? Can you pull that up, JT?
Yeah, I think like her whole thing, there was just like, she's attacking art.
let me take it again. What's been your most controversial moment?
My most controversial moment?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. My most controversial moment. Well, this is again, it's all from the same time. This is from 1995.
Nice.
I don't know if it's very controversial.
You were a wild man in the mid-'90s, bro.
I was a wild man in the mid-'90s. Calmed down significantly since then. Again, an acid story. I don't know why. It's just because my brain is in that area of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not constantly taking acid anymore.
That's what we get from this.
But we took some acid. We were in New Jersey. Took some acid, and then just never, as an 18, 19-year-old would do, just didn't anticipate, like, oh, this is going to be with me for 12 hours. And because we were driving from New Jersey to Swarthmore to pick up my girlfriend at the time, picked her up, drove back to New Jersey, which is like multiple-hour drive both ways, and then like got back and then didn't think it through that that I was going to see Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat with my mom and her friend who was a priest at my old high school with my friend Chris and my girlfriend at the time. So still tripping, get in the car with Father Larry and my mom. And my mom and Father Larry, like weirdly, I think they were just like platonic buddies. But it just seemed like they were dating. They would like go out to dinner like once a week, you know. And Father Larry was South Indian and had such a super thick accent that I could never understand really what he was saying to me. So that was already difficult tripping. And then I'm seated between Father Larry and my mom. And all of a sudden, all these little kids run out. Like, I don't know what Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat's all about. Also, it's a high school production. And then all these little children run out, like, right off the bat. And me and Chris are tripping. No one knows we're tripping. And then all these little children come and, like, sit down next to us in the aisle. And then I just see Chris going over and patting one of them on the head, and I had to like reach around my mom and be like, don't pat the children. And he's just like, they're real. And I was like, yes, they're real. And then it was a break, and I was angry at the school. I was angry, I guess, at Catholicism in general. And so during the break, we went outside to just get some fresh air. And then on the side of the building, like right where you walk in when anyone would see it, I had like one of those big like paint markers, because we were really into quote unquote tagging things in Baltimore
Yeah.
at the time. And I didn't, my tag was just like a star or whatever. It was stupid. It was just like whatever. And so I wrote very large on the side of the building as you walked into my Catholic high school, Jesus loves you, Kurt B fucks you. And then went back in and continued watching Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and then left.
Dude.
And then I tried to go back to my high school, and I was not let in. They banned me. I was not ever allowed to go back to Christian Brothers Academy in
'Cause you
Lincroft,
fuck.
New Jersey.
Wow.
Yeah, because I
Because
fucked
you fuck.
Oh, here it
Wait,
is.
What is this? Is this the video?
I thought you were going to find a video of the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is her dropping the bomb.
Oh, right. She
Yeah.
drops the bomb to
But
wake
she's just
up
trying to
this
wake
guy.
up her boyfriend. But yeah, right after Oklahoma. Yeah, but after Oklahoma,
Yeah,
this
that-
is
you can't
not the
have
thing
that.
you play on MTV.
No, not at all. Not at all, dude. I'll still remember Ryan McLaughlin's mom. I remember going to Ryan's house and his mom sitting on the couch watching the news about the Oklahoma City bombing and like weeping. And I mean, I was like 15, 16 years old maybe. And I mean, I understood the gravity of it, of course, but it's like I'll never forget that. So yeah, dude, you can't play that. All right. Ironically, though, in '96, she had to take a break while making the Possibly Maybe video because an obsessed and disturbed Florida fan's suicide note revealed they mailed a sulfuric acid bomb to her and her young son, which fortunately was intercepted safely.
Holy shit.
She's got this thing about her that people are obsessed with Bjork.
Yeah.
Like the people that are fans. You know what she's got? She's got Monica Seles vibe. Do you get that? Does anybody? Monica Seles was the tennis player that got stabbed in the back in Germany by that German guy. Do you remember that?
No, I don't even know about that.
What?
Yeah. I'm just
Really?
Yeah. What year did it happen? Probably on
I
Amazon.
know you don't follow sports, but do you follow murder?
I think that happened in 1990, JT. I'm going to say 96, 95. She was the best tennis player in the world. Arguably, like, she was better than Steffi Graf. Was kind of like right up on her. She was winning Wimbledon.
And she
the US
died? She
Open.
died?
93.
No, she didn't die.
Oh, okay.
She didn't die,
1993.
but she got when was it?
93.
93. She got stabbed in the back by this obsessed fan
In
that,
Hamburg.
like, loved her so much. And and then she came back, and I don't know if she was ever the same. Like, it's really sad because she was so dope. And then it just, she was afraid. I mean,
Yeah.
could you imagine that? Like,
No, can't.
to have fans be that disturbed that they want to that they feel like it's the fucking John Lennon, Mark David
Yeah.
Chapman shit. It's if you ever watch, you ever seen Imagine, the John Lennon documentary, Kurt?
I have not.
So if you watch it, there's a part where there's this homeless guy that they find living in the bushes of one of his a sprawling estates, and John goes out there with, I think, Yoko and like his security, and he's like, they're like, what are you doing here? And the homeless guy's like, well, he's like, you wrote all these songs about me. And and John's like, what are you talking about? He's like, they're about me, or they're about Yoko, or they're about drugs. Like, I don't know who you are. And then he's like, do you want to come in and I'll feed you? And then it's like him sitting at a table with the homeless guy, which I think they did because I knew the camera was there. You know what I mean? Like, he really would have been like, all right, get the fuck off my property. They took out his knees, probably burnt him, put like a scarlet L on him. All right, last fact. Here, tell me, dude, Morty, do the pick it up from the Getty one.
I'll give you one quick
there?
thing, by the way, just so
Morty?
you'll like this, though. The reason that this guy, can you hear me? Can you not hear me? Yeah. I'm talking.
Now
can
we
you hear
can.
me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. I don't know. You're off
What's
mic.
going on?
I was going to say the
Oh,
reason
sorry,
that dude
man.
sent the bomb, the obsessed guy, you can't hear
You're
me?
frozen, Morty. We can't hear you. You're choppy.
I can't hear you now.
Well, we can't hear
comes.
you.
Here we go. You're back.
All
Anything?
right, you're back. Go ahead.
Is it back?
Yeah, it's back.
Is it
Go
good?
ahead.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say the reason that he sent the bomb is that she was dating Goldie and he's black, and that was a big thing that he had an issue
Jesus
with.
Christ.
Wow.
Also, was this guy.
Yeah, dude, there's real racism
Yeah.
in England.
She's been known to
There's
date a lot
real-
of the people she works with. Yeah.
Dude,
So
you
for
know
this
what's funny?
last one,
Wait, hold on. Wait, maybe pick us up before you get into that because you'll appreciate this, Kurt. I was at Paradox, and there was like a DJ. The DJ booth was in the main room, and then there was this like VIP area that was kind of like right behind it. And Goldie was DJing, and like I like knocked on the thing, and like Goldie turned around and like looked at me, and I like went full like Midnight Express and like put my titty up against the window, and he went from like looking at me like fuck yeah to like who the fuck is this, and then I got kicked out of the club. Swear to God. Goldie.
I mean, to get kicked out of that place, you have to do a lot.
Yeah, dude. Show your titty to one of the biggest drum and bass DJs in the world. All right, Morty, hit us with the last one.
Okay, so last one, and we got to give a shout out to Eitan G, the Jewish rapper from Baltimore, Maryland, another native who I know listens and is a big fan of the Comedy Jam and everything. Geddy Lee from Rush called this one of his favorite albums. Here's what he said about it. He says, I know it's hard to see any connection between Rush and Bjork, but I don't think she gets the credit that she deserves. People tend to forget just what a fantastic and truly original artist she really is. Just great music powered by an immense imagination.
I think
I
that's
love that.
true.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Dude, it's the same shit, Kurt. I never would have thought you would have been a fan of this record. I mean, and not nothing against you. It's you never know what people are into, and I mean, I could see the way that Rush's music is him being attracted to this because it's rock, but would you call like Rush progressive? We
Yeah,
there?
I think Rush is prog rock, right?
Is it progressive rock, Morty? Yeah, dude. All right, let me ask you this, Kurt.
Oh, yeah.
ask you
Like
this.
out. Yeah.
I got it. Let me ask you this, Kurt. Who have you been surprised? Let me take this again. Who have you been surprised that? Fuck, it's written. Who have you been surprised knew you or was a fan? Let me take this. All right. Who have you been surprised to find that they're a fan of yours?
I don't know if they're a fan, but there was two instances when I was asked to open for the Hold Steady, which is one of my favorite bands ever.
Great band.
Cool.
And when I was asked to open for Metallica.
What?
Yeah. It was like
Whoa.
a weird. They usually have Jim Brewer open for them, but then this was like a kind of a charity gig that they were playing for their new charity, and they wanted someone who wouldn't go either like blue or political. And so they asked me. I don't know why. But then I got to open for like a bunch of like millionaires in San Francisco before Metallica played for like 2 hours.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You get to hang out with them.
Yep. Beforehand, everybody came by and said hi and got a little picture. And then afterwards, it was like this like real scene. It was like the after party was this real scene. And I was like, I'm not going to stay here. Because I was by myself. Like, I wanted someone to hang out with to be like, we're at the after party for this Metallica show. But it was just like by myself, like just standing around awkwardly. I was just like, I'm going back to my hotel room.
That's so dope. You got to get us that picture because I have to see you fucking with fucking Lars and everybody. We want to post it on our Instagram.
Okay,
All right.
well.
Rapid fire questions. Favorite song on the record?
Yeah, I think Army of Me.
Army of Me. Least favorite song on the record?
Cover Me.
Cover Me. Okay. What song on this record would you fuck to?
Oh, my God. Isobel? Oh, no. I'll change it. Hyper Ballad.
Ooh, yeah, dude.
Yeah. Because then it
All right.
ends like actually like, big.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's right. If you time it perfectly.
If you can fuck for 5 minutes and 22 seconds.
You can do that. We can do that. At this age, we can fuck for 5 minutes. Trust me. I'm 6, 7, 8. That's where it starts getting a little iffy. Does this record deserve to be on the 500 greatest albums list?
Hands down it does. It's such a fucking beautiful, overwhelming record. It just goes to... I mean, the fact that it has so many different styles within it, yet still has such a singular voice, I think that's what marks it as a great, great album.
Completely. This was so much fun, Kurt. Promote away. Anything you want to promote, go ahead.
Sure. Listen to Bananas, my podcast. It's all about strange news. You can listen to it right now, and then you can just follow me on most of the socials. You can just last name's tough, so just Google, gurgle,
Just gurgle.
just gurgle,
Gurgle.
just gurgle, Kurt comedy,
Gorgle.
and I should be
It's
the
gore.
first
It's
pop.
Gorgle.
Morty, go ahead. What do you want to promote?
Sorry, you
lost you.
follow
You're
me
all
at
choppy.
on
You're
Twitter at DJ Morty
gurgling
Coyle.
right now.
All my
Go
what
ahead.
the fuck?
Yeah, dude, your
Is it
internet
not
sucks
happening?
balls, dude.
It was great
Right.
all night. Follow me on Twitter at DJ Morty Coyle, and all my information's on there. And then shout out to another Fleece Army person, Blake Bardot.
Oh, I know Blake Bardot, dude. We all know Blake Bardot. I know what Morty's trying to do right now. He's trying to fucking get a little ish.
No, I'm not.
On the back.
I just like giving. No, I just like giving.
Oh, yeah,
I just
sure,
like giving
sure,
love to the
dude.
fans that actually
Sure.
respond to us.
Sure, dude.
I shouted
We all
out TJ last week.
know- Well, he's cute too.
I'm just
All right.
picking people that I think are worthy.
Okay. Yeah,
Fleece
all right.
Army,
There we
loyalist.
go. All right. All right, JT, go ahead.
At JT_podcast exec is me across all socials, and the company Next Chapter Podcast at NC Podcast. And next week, we're actually launching a new podcast with Rex Chapman.
What?
So the king of Twitter is going to have his own podcast. Yeah.
That is awesome.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
One of the best LSD stories, I'll end it on this, was I was tripping balls in 10th grade, and I was having kind of a bad trip because we got stopped by the cops because we were in a field listening to Nas Illmatic. And then I remember the cops let me go. I walk through Waters Landing, JT, you'll understand this. I get to M&G's, and the guy that owned he owned something in that area. He was wasted, and he had just come from the Washington Wizards game. It was opening game of the season, and I remember, I'll never forget it. He was like, they're down by 2, and then they're down by 1, and then next thing you know, Rex Chapman gets the ball, and he puts it in, and we won. And then I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And I went home, and I fucking, tripped in my room like a human being, like we're supposed to. Kurt, this was great. I
Thank
love you,
you.
buddy. I
Love
can't
you.
thank you enough for coming on, buddy.
That was really fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
My pleasure.